over a couple year period, two different groups came to us and said, we are struggling economically. We are having some difficulty producing product. And it was both the Association of University Related Research Parks and what was then called the National Association of Installation Developers. It's now called the Association of Defense Communities. Both organizations, yours and they, have changed their names, you only slightly. And so we decided with the board that one of our core competencies as an organization was running associations. In the case of AURP at the time, some of your board members were pretty active in QED, and they asked us to submit a proposal, and somewhat the rest is history.
Well, the board at the time was looking for someone with experience with growing associations, and so they put together an RFP and reached out to several different association management companies. And I remember going up to Baltimore for an in-person meeting with the search committee, and they liked what we had to say. And then I was invited to the convention in Chicago. And actually, it was a great way to learn about the organization and for them to spend some time with me. They selected my company, the Drohan Management Group, and myself to serve as executive director of AURP. And for the 8 years we were involved with it, we really enjoyed working with the organization, and it's really a fabulous organization, and you have a great mission and do a lot of great things. So we enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, basically, I was director of the research park at Arizona State University, and during one of the first days that I was actually director of the park, my boss sat me down and said, you know, you really should get involved with AURP. And I kind of took his advice to heart. And then we hosted a couple, I don't know if it was one or two meetings. I was asked to join the board. And then after being on the board for, I served 2 terms on the board, became a consultant to AURP, and then executive director and CEO.
There were a couple of things. When AURP came to us, unfortunately, they were broke. I don't think there was much gas in the tank, and when they ended up laying off, I think, a 3-person staff at the time, and closed down the offices in Tempe, Arizona. And they had written a budget that when we showed up to take possession of the intellectual property, the boxes, the old newsletters and things, they had failed to put in the budget the fee that they were going to pay QED for the staffing of AURP. So it was a real struggle for probably the first 18 months, 2 years. But we worked our way out of it.
I think in terms of some of the struggles and successes, I think a constant struggle is to continue to raise awareness of the unique role that university research parks play in the US and Canadian economies, that everybody understands economic development strategies and innovation, but not a lot of people realize that there is this national asset called university research parks that provide the organization and push forward all of these innovations and economic development in these different communities.
And then you help manage AURP starting, what year was that?
Brian, I'm going to say, I think it was 2007. Yeah, because I think that was the year that the recession hit.
a perfect time to start managing a nonprofit association.
Yeah, exactly. But it worked out.
Research parks had to be, they didn't want any distractions. And of course, that was not a really good strategy. And I think AURP sort of evolved, and we got comfortable with having the private sector developers being involved with AURP. And I think some of that happened during your time as CEO.
Yeah, I would say that it was the transition during that time. And basically that was more led by big tech. I think that the fact that they created a work environment where their folks had to be working around the clock. And so it just naturally evolved that work had to become more like home. And I remember, Motorola going to lunch there, and they just had like the greatest cafeteria in the world and all these special perks and so forth. And that just sort of evolved into the fact that work is more like home and home is more like work. So you have to have mixed use places.
Yeah.
A very good group of people. And it was an interesting mixture. It was a mixture of university types and a group of pragmatists, more economic development, roll up your sleeves and get it done kind of people. And I think it was the latter group that liked the QEd style of we were very pragmatic. The academic types wanted to talk about things a little longer, didn't want to have us make decisions as quickly. And I was kind of, let's get it done, move on, let's tackle the next item.
AURP, I'm going to say that the board, now here's just because I have a different background now, because I work with all these nonprofit organizations in Southern California. And I have to say that I really, I just give thanks that AURP, its strength is that all the people who are in AURP sort of have the same job. They don't compete with each other, but yet they're all super smart and they have great ideas. And that's really, if I had a takeaway, that's the highlight, was getting to go to board meetings and really see all these ideas just bouncing around the room. Some of them were great ideas. We picked up those ones that were, and it just took it from there. And it just worked because everybody really cared about it and everybody put a lot of effort into it.
I continue to see university research parks continuing to grow and growing the economy, and I think that also I think more people really understand the unique role that they play. Here in Fairfax County or in Northern Virginia, George Mason University has really stepped up to the plate. They're doing some fantastic things in Arlington and with the new Amazon HQ2. And also Virginia Tech has a new research campus being built in Crystal City, Virginia right now. So I think in terms of just the awareness of what those two universities are doing in this community or in the greater Washington area has risen very quickly, and a lot more people understand the roles that these universities are more than just education of students. There's a role to help grow the technologies and help grow the local economies. And so I don't see that slowing down. I see that speeding up. And I think it's an excellent strategy for these communities to get behind their universities and support them in this endeavor. And universities, private sector, government support, community support, and this kind of mixture it's hard to explain, but it works, and so I see a continued bright future.
Well, I really think that technologically driven economic development is basically what is the future of of work and of the economy, especially in the United States, but probably everywhere. And I think AURP has a really important role to play. And especially, you know, the things that are happening. I mean, certainly there would be challenges in the fact that now working from home is such a big deal. There are always all these problems in the world.
They're a
And
big problem.
AURP,
Yes. Yes. Really.
AURP can be a force for helping to solve some of those problems. And so I think that the future looks bright for AURP.
Congratulations to AURP and your role in helping to continue moving them forward.
Pleasure, and I'd like to say hello to all the AURP folks, and wishing you the best for another successful, the next 35 years of success.
Well, great. Well, I want to say congratulations to everybody at AURP and carry on the good work, and congratulations especially to Charlie Dilks, because I know this will be his last meeting and I want to wish him the best in his retirement.